Hi everybody, Russ and My Hammers 11. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you're made aware of any time I put new content on. Got loads of charity stuff going up at the moment, so make sure you sort of watch me on Twitter and Facebook. We've got obviously the Isla stuff we're doing with Steve Krieger with the My Hammers 11 prints, and we're going to be doing some stuff with the Iron Supporting Food Banks group coming up very, very soon. So make sure you stay in touch with that. Loads of great guests coming up, loads of great fans, including today's fan, another one from over the pond. It's Ronan Fagan. Hi Ronan, how are you, man?
Very good. Not too bad in yourself, Russ?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. Luckily, we've had our summer. We've had our 3 days of summer, so I'm a bit more relaxed now. I don't like it when it's sticky. I'm really rubbish with sticky weather. And yeah, no, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's been raining. It's lovely. Back to normal.
Yeah.
Back to normal.
Temperatures have come down, so.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. The temperatures come down. It's not so humid. You can have a good night's sleep. You know, so it's nice. How's things with you, man? How's sort of the lockdown? You know, how's it all treating you and stuff?
Well, it's been kind of, I suppose it's surreal, really. Like for most places in most countries, you know, you're walking around now. Every person you're meeting, you encounter is wearing a face covering. Yeah. You know, it's something you thought you'd only see in a movie, but it's real life now. And you know, sadly in the last few days, last couple of weeks, our numbers have begun to increase. Yeah. We've had some localized lockdowns as well in our neighbouring counties here. I'm in Rosemount in County Westmeath, right in the centre of Ireland. So a few neighbouring counties have been put back under lockdown because the figures have gone up. But it's been really surreal. But I've been working from home since mid-March. And thankfully, I've been able to do that. The Wi-Fi and brought good quality broadband enables me to do that, so I don't have to commute into work. So it's pretty good. Yeah. And my bosses have been really good about it too. You know, so you know, it's surreal, but it looks like we're going to have to live alongside the virus for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? Yeah, it's weird. As you said, it's just becoming and it's becoming normality now. It's just really strange, I think.
Yeah. It is, and at the start of lockdown, my wife was diagnosed with breast cancer as well. So that was pretty. You know, throw that in on top of your fears of the virus circulating all around you. You know, your anxiety level would increase a little bit, but at least West Ham weren't playing at the start of the lockdown, so the anxiety came down a small bit more. You know,
thank God for that.
These things always balance each other out, don't they?
Thank God for West Ham just not adding to any more problems. But bloody hell, yeah, I know, yeah. Well, as you said, go on,
you know, I'm great before my time supporting them, but you know, and as you say, like you wouldn't have nothing in your life at this stage anyway, you know. So you know, it's what it's all about. It's like every Saturday, you know, looking forward to a game, be it Saturday, Sunday, Monday night, Friday. You know, you lose the previous week, but you say, you know what, to frustrate the hell out of me, come 10 to 5 on a Saturday after we lose. I know I need my 5 minutes of, and then you just kick on. Then you have your little WhatsApp chat in your group, and you give out, and you know, you just think, oh my God, why do I put myself through this 40 years supporting this crowd, and they're still annoying me on a Saturday afternoon, ruining the weekend. Can't watch Match of the Day again. I'll stop Serious linking it. You know, it's bizarre. And then next week, the following week, we're back again. You know, we could be playing Man United or Liverpool after losing to Wimbledon, the cup, and then we go and beat Man United or Liverpool. That's just West Ham.
West Ham way, yes, West Ham way. You're right. Complete blind optimism. That's what I have. Every season, I have blind optimism.
Yeah,
I'm like, so at the moment, I'm like, this is going to be our season this season. I fancy a cup run, you know, safe by sort of January. Yeah. I know it's like 3 or 4 games in, I'm going to be absolutely back to square one. But that's why we do it, isn't it? We just do it. You know, that's what we do.
As I said, it's what we do. It's what we do. And you go on the social, you go on to Twitter. I be very much prevalent on Twitter as opposed to other social media channels. Yeah. We all have the same thoughts about the club. We all want to do well. All we want is a piece of silver in our hands.
Yeah.
That's all I want to see in my lifetime. I was 4 when we won the cup in 1980, so it was obviously before my time. And obviously, the Intertoto in 99, the Betway Cup.
We get.
So all we
no
want
one
is,
picks up on that. Every season we get to the final of that, and
no, yeah, we do, and it looks like we could be playing an English Cup in the final this year, an English club in the final this year.
yes, I believe so. I believe we're playing an English club. It's TBA or TBC, but yes, we are. Looks like we're playing an English club.
Yes, TBC is right. Yes.
I can't reveal who it is. I believe I know who it is, but I can't reveal. We'll see.
Yes, okay. I'm not getting the exclusive tonight, so
no exclusives tonight. No, I'm sworn to secrecy.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's not that exciting, but yeah. But yeah, it's a bit weird, but that's where I stand. You're right, and you're right in terms of it ruining your weekends. I've stopped series linking match of the day as well. Because it was like the indignity of going through it.
But it was.
Go on.
Yeah, I know, but like it was like post lockdown when the football came back and we started to win a few games. I said, "Give me the remote control. I'm going to have the series link match of the day again. It's this West Ham." But just the move to the London Stadium when it came. We were looking at larger crowds, bigger turnover. Bringing more fans into the stadium. The majority were hoping for a kick on. We haven't kicked on, unfortunately. Like out of the seasons that we've gone to the London Stadium, I think only one season we haven't really teetered with relegation. And I got a season ticket for 7. I have a season ticket with 5 of my West Ham friends here in Ireland. We share 2 season tickets, and we go three times a season. And we got the season ticket in 17-18, and I've seen more losses than victories. And would you believe us? My first game in Upton Park was 1994, and now I didn't get to go every season because obviously cost involved. I was in college, wasn't working, living at home, etc., etc. But I never saw West Ham lose in Upton Park. No, but albeit now I never got to see them play against any of the top teams in Upton Park. It was all the teams in and around us that you should be beating. But West Ham, you don't usually beat them. But I always left that stadium buzzing, and like I'll never ever forget that stadium. Like the nighttime games. If I was at a Monday night game, oh my God, the hairs be on your back when Bubbles is sang before, during. When they come back out after half time, and these are the little moments that they stay with you. They make you want to go back to the games. They make you, they live with you forever, and they are the reasons why you support West Ham United Football Club.
Yeah, exactly.
The friendships you make, like I've made so many friends. Like I've made so many. Like I live in the heart of Ireland, a place called Athlone. The majority of people in Ireland, as you're probably aware, are Man U or Liverpool or Arsenal supporters. Like we don't grow on trees over here, West Ham supporters. So we have to.
Oh, hello. Where's he gone? He was just getting into his stride. There is Ronan. We don't know where Ronan is. Maybe someone's called him. That's the trouble with StreamYard sometimes. When you call people, it drops in. While we wait for Rowan to get back, we'll just talk a little bit about the Iron supporting food bank. So obviously we got the charity event going up on the Thursday 27th at 8 p.m. UK time. We obviously supporting the Iron Supporting Food Bank group, who do loads of great work for charity. They do loads of great stuff, and we've got Rowan back, and he's back. Here he is.
My apologies. But as I was saying, like West Ham fans don't grow on trees around this part of the country. So it was just through going into local pubs, watching the games, and then I'd meet up with a few other fanatics, because that's what we are. We're fanatics, and it's amazing, like the friendship you form. And I remember when I got married in 2009, it was a special West Ham table. You know, we had blown bubbles playing. It was the guys, when I walked into the room, the guys are up blowing bubbles. You know, it was just fantastic. And the camaraderie and friendships are there for life. And we look out for each other outside of West Ham as well. You know, like what you know, we know each other's families very well. You know, we go out for beers during the summer when the season is closed. When the season is in the off period. It's just fantastic, you know. But I share the 2 tickets we renew every year, and like we look forward to going over. And you know what, it's kind of different for the fans that live outside the UK. You know, there's always that fear of Sky switching the game. You know, you can't book your flights till really late. You can't book your hotel till really late. But like, you know, you're just looking at the fixtures and you're going. I remember going one game in particular. I think it was Brighton. I think it was Slav's last home game a few seasons back. We were, and I actually brought my mum to the game with me, because when I was young, my mum and dad used to bring me over to the games. And my mum was saying, "When are you going to bring me to the new stadium?" So I said, "Come on, we'll go to this game. Surely we'll win it." We were 3-0 down at half time. You know, and you're just thinking, you're not coming with me again, Mum, you're a magpie, you know. So you know, and it's as I said, sadly I've seen us lose more than win in the London Stadium. But you get your 3 games, we meet when the fixtures are announced, we meet in one of the guys' houses, and we have a little lottery to what games we're picking and what games we're going to. And we all get a big game every year. So I got Chelsea. I actually had the 2 Chelsea games, like the 1-0 at home and Arnautovic scored, and I had the Chelsea game this year. Obviously, we couldn't go to with lockdown, but I was also at the last home game before lockdown, Southampton, and I bought over. I bought over my best mate. He's a Man U man, but we'll cover over that. But he wanted to get to the London Stadium, and he has an affinity for West Ham, because he knows the heartbreak I suffer every other weekend. And we were always chatting about it, and he really enjoyed the experience of the stadium. It helped obviously that we won 3-1, but like he really enjoyed the experience of going over, having a few beers beforehand, going back to the Bull Pub after, and meeting a few of the guys who I'd be friendly with on another WhatsApp group, which we set up during lockdown. So a few of the guys that live over in London, and a few of the guys that live around the country here, and it's just the general banter and the one-liners and the crack, and it's just, you know, and particularly when you win, like, and that day against Southampton, like, we were actually coming into a bit of form. We had lost to Liverpool. We shouldn't have lost to Liverpool.
No, you shouldn't have.
No, and the week after Southampton, we should have beaten Arsenal as well before lockdown came in, or got something at the Emirates anyway. But look, it's nice to get over. Like, if I go over, so if the game's at 3:00 on a Saturday, I'll do a day trip, you know, and the flights are started set up. You know, I could leave my house about 5 a.m. Get the flight. Usually go to, if I can afford it, I'll go into London City, because it's only a few stops on the DLR.
La-di-da.
Yeah, I got off a slagging for that when they say, where are you flying to? London City. La-di-da, that's right. And then normally it's Stansted, and then you get the bus in from Stansted. You're in a half an hour and meet a few people beforehand, go down to the club shop, and then you're just hoping and praying for the right results, so you're not like an antichrist going home. And the late flight home will be about 10:30 at night, and you're waiting around the airport, and you're just and then I have to drive. I'd be about an hour and 15 from the airport in Dublin. Then I'd have to drive home then. And then you're just mulling the game over in your head as you're driving home, and you're just saying, oh my God, why do I bother? But then again, then you're marking down the days until your next journey across, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's mad. You know, and
It's
sometimes,
crazy.
and when I was at the Southampton game, we stayed the night and we had a great weekend, you know, because as I say, like, you know, you might be saying, the result doesn't matter. I'm over here with my best mate. We're going to have a few beers, but that's all part of it too. But you want the result. You want to win, like, you know what I mean? So, you know, it's, you know, so I thought, like, pre-lockdown, we were showing a bit of form, you know. Moyes had us working really hard on the pitch. You know, we had Haller up top, and the lads, Antonio and Bowen tucking in from the wings that particular day. Like Antonio was unplayable, Bowen was unplayable that day. Like, you know, we should have won by more. And then you're just looking at your table after the game, going, how are we in such a low position? You know, when you see the potential and how they can play. And that was realised when we came back after lockdown as well. Like, you know, how, like, the first 2 games against Wolves and Spurs, we were like, championship, how we have missed you. Here we come again. But, you know, and then it automatically, it just suddenly kicked, you know, and that Chelsea game, oh my God. You had Stevie Sizzle on last week, and we were actually in the WhatsApp group. That's the one he was referring to, and one of the Dublin Hammers that set it up so we'd all join in and watch the games on Zoom. But like some people were dropping in, dropping out, but like the tension of the game, you just wanted to sit on your own and watch it. And I remember when Yarmolenko scored, and my son, who's 5, who I'm trying to ingrain in the West Ham way, but his mother's going, no, you don't have a future of sporting hardship, Lucas. Choose your own team. But like I remember, like it was, you know, it was a late game, and when Yarmolenko scored, it was nearly 10 o'clock at night, and like I was watching it on my own on the couch down here. And I got up and I was just running up and down the open plan sitting room and kitchen, and I was, you know what? And you think you'll grow up and get some sense, but you don't. Why do that?
What's the point?
You know, so So it's just go on.
No, I was going to say, you know, obviously you speak so eloquently and so enthusiastically about West Ham. Why is West Ham your club, man? What's the story?
I don't have. Would you believe I don't have a story like Stevie Sizzle or a few of your other guests? You know, I don't have a long-winded story. But when I was growing up, my late dad, he was a Liverpool supporter. He was a fanatical Liverpool supporter. His family would have emigrated to. A lot of his aunts and uncles would have emigrated to Liverpool for work, and when they were in Liverpool, they used to send. I'm sure you've heard of the Liverpool Echo. It's the weekly soccer paper up there, a sports paper up there. They would have sent back the Liverpool Echo to my dad's home house in Tipperary. And my dad was an avid sportsman, played a lot of sports when he was young, and he picked Liverpool as his team as a result of this. And he would tell me, like when I was young, he'd tell me great stories of, you know, former Liverpool players, etc., etc. And my older brother is a mad Liverpool supporter, an absolute fanatic as well. So you think then it'll pass down to the younger son. I'm the youngest son in the house, and I said, I'm not having any of this. So I remember when it's not a great story, but
no, it's cool. I love it.
You know, it's like I remember I was about 8 or 9, and I was going through the Panini sticker book, and I came across the West Ham jersey, and I said, I like that jersey.
That's the one.
And then that's the one for me. Now, I'm sorry, no, it's not any more revelatory than any of your other guests. And I said that is the one. And I picked West Ham from there. Yeah. And I'd be one now if I made the decision, even at that age. I'm sticking with that decision, you know. And I can tell you, swiftly following was our 85-86 season when we finished 3rd. And I said, here, I'm on to a winner, baby.
Back the right horse.
Yeah. And of course, Liverpool won the title that year, obviously.
Yeah.
And like that is my first vivid memory of supporting West Ham, that 85-86 season. And Cotty and McAvenny. Tony Cotty was my boyhood hero growing up. When I was playing football with my local club in Athlone, Tony Cotty was all I wanted to be when I grew up. And like I had and the guys that I were playing with, who's Tony Cotty? You know, they were all Mark Hughes or Kenny Dalglish or whatnot, you know. But Tony Cotty was my childhood hero. You know, and I got to meet my childhood hero a couple of years ago before our home game against Bournemouth. You know, they say never meet your heroes, but he was such a gentleman. So affable, so nice, so, you know, posing me for photographs. and wanted to know about how like yourself, how did I become a West Ham supporter?
Of course,
Really nice guy. Took time out from his because obviously he had a hectic schedule. He was meeting sponsors, etc. But still took time out to talk to me, and I'll forever remember that too. And on the same day I met Tony Gale as well. So and talk about chalk and cheese. Tony character, never short of a word. And we had great. Like even though we lost the game, we had a couple of beers after. And Tony Gale, a man you'd love to go out for a night in the town with. My God, and I watched your podcast with him. My God, what a character! What a character!
They're all that era.
Yeah.
They're all fantastic.
And even though Tony was quiet, he was very, very, very friendly too. You know what I mean? Very, very affable and really down to earth too. You know what I mean? All that generation, and they seem to have a great connection. Obviously, because of the 85, 86 when we finished third, they seem to have that connection. That they still, seem like they meet up regularly, etc., and like they're so comfortable in each other's company as well. So Tony Gale, oh my God. I never had such a. I left the pub. My sides were sore from laughing. We've just been in conversation with him, you know what I mean. I've been with David. A good friend of mine. He's from Dublin. He's in Dublin. He's a Dublin Hammer as well, and he's quite good friends. He plays golf with Gail and Cotty, and it was he that introduced me to the two lads. And I only got to meet this chap via the West Ham family on Twitter. And I was flying out to last season. We beat Fulham 3-1 at home on a Friday night. Myself and a couple of mates at Hammers were flying out to the game. Our flight flying to City Airport, of course. And it was February and the fog was dense and the flight was delayed and we were worried we mightn't get to the game. But this Dublin Hammer friend of mine, Ronan is his name as well. I actually hadn't previously met him, but I recognized him from his picture on social media, and he recognized me. And he was going on the same flight as us, and we just sat down, and our flight was delayed for 3 hours, and we just talked West Ham. We were like we had known each other all our lives, and that's how. And then we got over. He was actually meeting Gail and Cotty that evening, and that's how we got to meet him. And the two chaps that were with me, Dan and Paddy, couldn't believe that there were these were two guys that were at Lone Hammers as well. They couldn't believe that they were going to meet the two Tonys, you know what I mean? And they're still talking about the great night we had that night, you know what I mean? So it's you grew up, you idolize these players, and you meet them, and they're as warm and friendly and as affectionate as you hope they will be. You know what I mean? Totally. So that was a night to remember, and we won 3-1, of course. Which more important.
No, you're right. They're just lovely guys. It's you said it was the West Ham community, and you said the West Ham family. Even more so, it's quite funny how you recognise his face from social media. You recognise yours. And it was lovely. I love stuff. We just met, and it was so I remember I arrived into where you're waiting before the flight comes down, and he was on the phone, I was on my phone. He said, "Twig me," and his son was with him, and his son was head to toe in claret and blue, and it was just nice, you know what I mean. So it's just extending your West Ham family, and the more contacts you have, and the more West Ham community you can ingrace yourself with. Isn't that what it's all about too, Russ? Oh, definitely. Absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's the whole point of this channel. That's why this channel has become what it is. For that exact reason. Because people have said, you should talk to this person. And they said, I've seen Stevie Sissel. And this, and all the American guys. And that's why it's become what it is. Exactly.
And of course, I suppose, 85, 86, we finished third. And I remember, you couldn't get a West Ham jersey, any memorabilia. Stevie Sizzle referred to it last week in Ireland, around where he's not too far from me actually. You couldn't, even if you went to Dublin, you couldn't get West Ham memorabilia. It's all Man U, Liverpool, Arsenal. And I remember, I'm wearing the I don't know what season we had this jersey, but it was under Sam's reign anyway. But it's a replica of it. It's kind of a homage to 85, 86. But I remember my uncle, he was in London, and he came home. Obviously, my mum or dad must have had a word in his ear, and he came home with the 85, 86 Avco kit. It was like Christmas. All rolled into one, because I remember I used to ask Santa Claus, when I was a kid, can I have a West Ham kit? Can I have a West? Never appeared.
You're a good boy. You're a good boy.
And I think maybe they were trying to get me back down to Liverpool Pat or something like that. But I was always a good boy. Yeah, but it was and then this appeared like a vision one morning, and before I went to school, and I was like, I actually wore it under my uniform going to school to show the guys, and and I could talk to you for hours and hours about West Ham, but it was that, and then I remember I was on a school trip. We went to London on a school trip. I remember walking into, I think it was HMV, and I saw the old VHSs. West Ham 88-89 season, and I bought it even though we were relegated. And this is like 2 years after we were relegated. Yet I bought it. Like, and every other game, it's a loss. But and then I just repeated and played it till it was worn out. And then I remember getting another DVD. I think it was 1991, and it was just at the weekend you just put it in, you watched it, and your parents were there. Have you not worn that out yet? And I'm just going, no, this is my team, this is my club, and this is what I love to do, So it's in my blood, and it'll stay in my blood until the day I meet my maker, as they say, And I hope I pass it on to my son Lucas too. But I'll guide him down the path, albeit I'll nurture him. Exactly.
Yeah, gently coax him. Yeah.
Yes, when we all get back into the London Stadium again, he'll be on my shoulders. That's for sure.
Oh, fantastic. So let's do this Hammers 11. Let's do this Hammers 11 round. So obviously the idea is you pick your 11. The only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play, not seen them live, but been alive to see them play. Because obviously you've only seen 3 games a season, so it would be that great. So you have to be alive to have seen them play, and that's it. So we'll start off in goal. Who's going to be in goal for Ronan 11?
Like many that have been on your show in recent past, Ludo. Yeah. Ludo gave us 9 great seasons. Always remember him in goal with the tracksuit bottoms, and such a keeper. Like, he covered his goal so well, so tall, and like he was like a cat moving around the goal. Like, and when he made saves, it was like a cat pouncing on the ball of wool. And he always seemed to hold onto the ball. There was no airs or graces about him. No flicking the ball over the bar when it could be caught. And he kept many clean sheets. And he performed well under pressure, and you have to have him in your team alone for stopping Man United winning the title in 1995. You just have to have him in the team, So he would be my Rob Green. Pushed him close. I remember Rob Green, that Arsenal game that came in the Emirates, the first team to win there, the Emirates, when we had one shot on goal. Bobby Z scored, and Rob Green was like an octopus, stopping everything that came in his way that day. But Ludo gets the nod at number 1 for me, and he was actually interviewed on the pitch before the Southampton game that I was at in February, and the fans just were singing his name, and he still is a folk hero for the club. And it was great to see him back coaching with the club a few years ago as well. So maintaining the links with the past grace, that's what the club is all about too,
Yeah, definitely, absolutely, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I put Ludo in.
You do indeed.
You carry on. You go through as a team as you want, man.
Well, I'll go with the right full. I have a few cult heroes in the team, so to speak. So my right full, you can guess if it's a cult hero, it's Mr. Repka. He was our club record signing, I think, back in 2001. I think Glenn Roeder would have signed him from Fiorentina, if I recall. And I suppose getting sent off in his first game didn't really ingratiate him with the fan base. And then he got sent off in his third game, and fans are beginning to worry. Is this guy a head case, or what's he all about? But he really solidified his place in the team. I know he played centre back a bit with Christian Daly as well, under Oder. But when Pards came in, he chucked them out right full, and he did a solid job there. Really, he such a passionate footballer. Like, I'd say wingers were afraid to come down. Left side of the wingers really were afraid to come down. See these beady eyes staring at you, And he really was a daunting character, and you wouldn't want to cross him on the football pitch, that's for sure. No. But no, definitely not. And he is such a love for the club. And that 2006 he played that night, we beat Fulham. And I remember the fans just singing Super Thomas Repka for the last 10 minutes. The game was won, and the fans just non-stop Super Thomas Repka. And I remember him leaving the pitch just floods of tears. That's how much the club meant to him. So he's my right full. So I think a worthy number 2, as to say. But then again, right fulls, a lot of right fulls wear number 24 these days. So
whatever number numbers out the window. Yeah. Sure. Go on, you carry on. Rose.
Yeah, I go with centre backs. Sure. I mentioned them earlier. Sizzle referred to him as the most beautiful man, and that he is. Tony Gale. Played 300 times for the club. Another man that had such longevity with West Ham, 10 seasons from 84 to 94. Eventually got his PL medal with Blackburn in 95. But one particular, and he referenced it himself when you were talking to him, that free kick goal against Liverpool in 1988 in the League Cup. I'll tell you a quick story. I know I won't hold you up. That was back in 1988. I would have been 12. And I remember it was a Wednesday night cup game, and of course Liverpool were league champions, full-time favourites to knock us out of the cup. And obviously that's back in the day where you were waiting on a pigeon to come from England with the scoreline. There was no like you're right. I got it on we had a service called Airtel, which would have been near CFAX. So you were just waiting for the score. And anyway, the score didn't come that night anyway. And I knew we were playing, and I couldn't get. You could listen to commentary on BBC Radio 5 as well. And I couldn't get the commentary on BBC Radio 5. Anyway, I watched the game that night with my dad and my brother, and we won 4-1. And I had the bragging rights for about a month after. It was unbelievable. And Gale clipped a beautiful free kick into the top corner that night. And I remembered the place just erupted when he did so, So, but then again, he was very, read the play very well, very eloquent on the ball, knew when to play it, knew when it would get rid of it, but he epitomised all that is good about West Ham centre backs,
Yeah. No problem. Reg is in.
Yeah, Reg. I couldn't think of his nickname. Complimenting Reg would be another folk hero, cult hero, Ginge Collins. Another man that would give all for the Clarendon Blue cause, didn't he? He was just in the two periods he was with us. He particularly the latter period. He came back a better footballer, I thought, from Villa, and he would put his head where you wouldn't put your foot. An unbelievable player for us. He had the odd rick, sometimes resulted in goal, and then you'd be the massive outcry, but. He was never one to shuck a challenge. He would compliment Tony Gale there quite nicely. Always a danger from set pieces, and you knew when James Collins was in your starting team that you're getting 100% week in week out. And I'm sure the managers that he worked with would tell you that. And what I love about James is when you see him on media. He speaks so fondly and affectionately of the club. Despite he didn't get his testimonial, even though he gave us 10 seasons, broken over 2 periods, and he may have been harshly treated in the end by the club, but at the end of the day, he comes out. He still wants West Ham to do well, and I love that about players who have played for us and still speak so highly of it. It means a lot to the fans, I think.
Totally.
So Ginge goes in alongside Reg, as you would say.
Yep. Nice one.
And
who's next?
Yeah, left full, and I think every broadcast I've listened to, I've chosen this man as left full, the Terminator, Mr. Dix.
Yeah.
You know, I just echo everyone's sentiments about Julian Dix. You know, a la Repka, a la Collins, Gale, gave everything to it when he wore that West Ham shirt. You know, over the seasons that he played for us, an absolute genius of a left foot. Could ping a pass 20 yards, could ping a pass 40 yards, and like this is when he was playing on pitches that weren't, you know, conducive to that free flowing pass and move, etc. And as for the penalties, I think he only missed 4 penalties. He scored 35 in his career with the club. Bit of a headbanger at times with the red cards, but you know, when you had Julian Dix in the side, you had a good chance that you were keeping a clean sheet. And if you got a penalty at the other end of the pitch, the goalkeeper and the ball and the net was coming off the hinges, you know. So, you know, I remember that we had a 2-2 draw with Man U in December. I think it was, I can't remember, I think it would be 98. We were 2-0 down, and later on, Dix, we got that penalty, and there was and I think Schmeichel would have ended up in the car park if there wasn't a net behind him. Such was the ferocity of the penalty. That man is a cult hero, and when he comes back next year with West Brom, if there are fans back in the stadium, he'll get a rapturous welcome.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he's just become a dad again.
Yes, I just saw that. Congratulations, Mr. Dix.
Indeed.
So we'll move on. Yes. We'll move on to wide right or right midfield, position I would have played with in my playing days, and I've gone with Kevin Keane. Kevin Keane. Yeah. Still involved with the club at under 18s, I believe. Am I right?
Yeah. So. We've had him on the channel.
Yeah. 83 to 93, gave us some great years. I was just looking at the VHSs as I was telling you about, and he always seemed to hug that right down by the chicken run. That's all that's my image of him, down by the chicken run, and being so creative, whipping in balls, having assists, and actually popping up with some vital goals during the promotion campaigns as well. And like he looked so you know, so light in the BSE window shirt. Yes, you know, he was a man of great stature on the pitch, and he's been caretaker boss for us on 3 occasions. Yeah. So he obviously has a great passion for the club, you know, and definitely. I can tell you, he's worthy recipient of the right wing slot for me. Anyway, that's for sure.
Yeah,
you know, so it's great to see him still involved with the club, and you know, as I said, the old pros, like, they gave their all, and now they're giving back to the club, and that's great to see personally, you know. So we move on, and I'll go centre mid. Is that okay?
Of course.
Yes, centre mid. Recently promoted to the Premiership with Fulham, Mr. Scotty Parker. Scotty P, and he's been in a good few of your teams as well. 3 times, yeah. 3 times Hammer of the Year, Football Writers Player of the Year we were relegated. That says enough for me, you know. But you know, and I know he gets a lot of our fan base giving sick for heading to Spurs after we were relegated. But you know, the 4 seasons that he had with us, he was just phenomenal. When he talked for us, he was phenomenal. I'll always remember him. I call him Mr. 360. He used to get the ball in the middle of the park and turn 360. Next thing, the ball be gone wide right, ball be gone wide left, or into Carvin Cole's feet or something like that. But like, he gave it his all. Like them, and like, he was great to break forward and score goals. I remember him scoring a cracker against West Brom one night. I remember him scoring a really deft little right foot finish against Liverpool in the 3-1 win one season. And of course, under Zola, he scored that important goal against Wigan, remember, 2010, to keep us up. You know, I remember I was at a wedding that day, and I was my phone was ping, 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 and every time you'd look at the phone, and it was like, and the next thing, when we got the late goal to win 3-2, I could have ran around the marquee there non-stop 50 times. I didn't need any drink, you know. I was so happy, you know. But you know, that was another unfortunately another season flirting with relegation. But we got out of it in the end. Unfortunately, we didn't get out of the next season, but like Scotty Parker gave us all to the cause, and like it's great to see him do so well with Fulham. I watched the playoffs, the semis, and the final, and he speaks so eloquently. He speaks so knowledgeably about the game. He's just a suave guy. He dresses so well, and please God, who knows? You could see him on the sideline in the London Stadium in years to come. Who knows? But we want Mr. Moyes to do a good job first, obviously. So Indeed. We need to crack on now. That's what it's all about. But Scotty's in there anyway because of his just his attributes as a player, and I think he's got a great future in management in the game. Yeah. So alongside Mr. Parker, we go back to the 90s and Mr. Ian Bishop. I love Bish. Oh, I just love Bish. And I remember my first game in Upton Park was Boxing Day, 1994. My brother was working in the UK in London at the time, so I went over and spent a couple of weeks from the holidays. And we played Ipswich. And I was in I think the Centenary stand. It was either the Centenary stand or the Bobby Moore stand. Was newly opened, or the lower tier of it anyway. And I remember my mum and dad and I went down to the game, and we got the tickets at the turnstiles, which I believe going in. You know what I mean? And I remember going into the game, and we scored first. Cotty scored early and into the goal that we were sitting behind, and I was like, who needed presents at Christmas? This is the only present I needed, And Bish was in the middle of the park that day, and he was like a puppeteer pulling the strings. Ping, ping, ping. And that guy could, and as I referred to them VHS videos, particularly the 1991 season, like some of the pitches were like, there was no grass on them. It was like a quagmire. And like he was able to 40 yards, 20 yards, 15 yards, give it to your feet. He was able to, put in challenges. Like he was never like some of these, creative midfielders with Guy couldn't tackle, but Bish could. And he gave his all for us while he was with us. And I was very sad to see leave when he left the club because, I remember a particular goal he got against Port Vale, and he broke through the midfield outside the left it in the top bins, as Carlton Cole would say. And it's the little things, like that that stick in your mind. Exactly. And Bish was a player that stuck in mind, and probably ahead of his time, particularly for the Hammers. But he and he's very good. If you tweet him on social, he'll retweet you. He'll tweet you back. He's very good like that, isn't he? And I'm sure
very good.
He's very good like that, and even though he's over in the States, like, you know what I mean. So I'm sure he'll be happy. I put him in the team tonight. We'll get a retweet because of it. We'll get a retweet because of it. So don't worry. Bish is a big friend of the channel. Yeah, Bishop is. We've had him on. And he's a good lad. Salt of the earth bloke. Love him. Love him. All right, Bish is in. Who's next? So we go wide left, and we go through one of our youth academy players, Mr. Joe Cole. Like as I said to you earlier on, like it's very hard picking out, like when you're a fan for almost 40 years, it's very hard leaving out players that you had great fondness and affection for, but you have to narrow it down to 11, and notable mentions that come at the end, as to say. But Joe, sure, I just remember watching that U Cup final when we won 9-0. I was watching it at home. I watched the first leg. We won 3-0 up on Highfield Road, and then the second leg was on a Friday night, and Upton Park was absolutely, the game had to be put back 15 minutes because Carrick was playing, Cole was playing. I remember Cole doing a Rabona pass, 40-yard Rabona pass at one stage out to the right wing, and I nearly dropped it in around my hand, and at that stage, so many people were talking about Joe Cole. Alex Ferguson was trying to, sign him for United at the time. Yeah. And I remember, I think he signed his contract on the centre circle before one of the games at West Ham.
Chelsea.
And
before Chelsea, ironically.
Well, Chelsea, yeah, okay. And I think the stadium announcer announced, everyone will know where they were when Joe Cole signed for West Ham. And he was such a passionate footballer for the club. Like he was part of that Rio Carrick, Glenn Johnson himself, Lamps. like I know I've alluded to it before on the channel. Like if we had held on to them guys and built a team around them, you know, we would have been a serious outfit. Like, you know what I mean, a serious outfit. You know, but Joe, like his first goal for us was in that mad 5-4 game against Bradford. Premier League goal for us, and I remember him jumping straight into the crowd after it meant so much to him. And you know, I think it took him about 10 minutes to get back out and get the jersey on. And then when he left, went off to Chelsea, had that stellar career with Chelsea, won his Premier League titles, went off, then eventually came back to us. And I remember his first game, I think he came back, we played United in the cup, we drew 2-2, Ginge got a couple, he got 2 assists, and you just could see what it meant to him to be back wearing that jersey. You know, and he scored against Spurs then as well. I remember him going off kicking the horns, and you know, he just epitomised everything that is so good about our football club. And he was a fantastic footballer as well. He could tackle as well. He could tackle. He could put his foot in, you know, and he could break into boxes. And he could, when he broke into the box, and if he was 1-on-1, he inevitably finish that chance. You know what I mean? And I loved him as a player, and I love him. And actually, I love him as a pundit as well. I think he's very knowledgeable. When I see him doing his punditry, you know, and a la Ginge, he speaks so affectionately when West Ham are ever brought up in conversation, you know. And who knows, we could see him back. I see him back on the sideline, himself and Scotty P maybe sometime. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows is right. Do you? No, you don't. You never know. But like Joe Cole is one for who I have great fondness for as well. You know what I mean? Because as I said, I predominantly through the 90s, you know, you're influenced by, and we had a good period during that 90s. You know, we finished 5th in the Premier League. You know what I mean? And he was part of that era too. So, you know, there were others you could put it in, like Trevor Sinclair as well, another one from that era. You could put it in, but I just opted for Joe because he could come in off the left and cause havoc to defenders. Yeah, so that's my midfield, and we'll move on. We'll move on to the top two. Where is it? Oh yeah, another good old mercurial maverick, as I call him, Paulo Di Canio. You couldn't have a West Ham team without our Paulo in it. You know what I mean? You know, anyone who puts a recipe for tiramisu in his autobiography deserves to goes into a Hammers 11. Oh, what a player! I saw him play. I was lucky and privileged to be in the ground when he scored that goal. You know, I could have swam home to Ireland that night. You know, after I saw that goal, and you know, it's incredible what that man could do with a football. How he could manipulate it. You know, turn defenders inside out. That goal against Arsenal, the one where he let Keown have to pay at the turnstile to come back into the game. You know, he was worth the entrance fee alone to any game I ever went to West Ham. You know, and I remember being at a game, we beat Newcastle 2-0 in March '99. He got the first goal, and anytime the ball went up to him, it stuck. He just caused mayhem that day, you know. And he is the one guy in a West Ham shirt that when anytime I hear this word, my ears, you know, I get goose pimples because any footage you see of Paulo, I think there was a montage put up there a while back. It was his birthday, and there was a montage put up in it, and it took me right back to why I love Paulo Di Canio and why I love West Ham. You know, like Harry took that big punt, and then it could have gone pear-shaped, didn't it? It could have easily gone pear-shaped, but really he kicked on and was such a massive asset. Now he was at times a loose cannon, to put it mildly, but like when Paulo was in the zone, and that was it. You know what I mean? He ran games. He absolutely ran games. And just like I suppose Dimitri Payet was probably of a similar ilk, but we only got one season out of him. But like he was another footballer that you pay the admission price low to come and watch. And thankfully, I got to see him a couple of times during the season. He was with us as well. But anytime I saw Dimitri, he wasn't the Dimitri I would see more regularly on the TV. But anytime I saw Paulo Di Canio playing football, you know, he did just inspire you to go home, put on your boots, and go out into the garden. You know, he was just that impact on me as a supporter, like, you know, and a lot of fans would feel the same way. And it's just a pity that, you know, his management career hasn't taken off because he's one you'd love to see in the dugout, because he would just go berserk. Things were not going, he would wear his heart on his sleeve, which he did on so many occasions, and like that goal that goal against United in the FA Cup that day. I remember I was at home. I remember watching it. I was still living at home, and I remember I was a really bad illness at the time, and when he scored that goal, the illness was suddenly gone. So it's mad. Like these little memories that twig your memory about what was going on when something happened. But like, he's a character, and these characters aren't in existence too often anymore, are they? So we'd love to see a bit about that. And Paolo Di Canio, I don't know. I can't eulogize him about him any more than I've just done so.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
Paolo's in. Who's the last position?
As I said, I alluded to him like Gailey earlier on.
Yeah.
My boyhood hero, Tony Cottee.
Yeah.
What a goal scorer! What a poacher! Left foot, right foot, header. If it dropped him in the box, invariably he was in the back of the net before the keeper had time to blink. So he gave me so much, obviously pre-Paolo, but like he gave me such joy growing up. And I remember when he left to join Everton in '88, I was 12 years of age and I was crying. Yeah. That and he left for $2 million, and which was a sizable fee back in 1988. And he was just an icon to me at home, and a real icon. And we had a lovely patch of green outside our front house, and like when I wasn't playing competitive football, I was out there trying to emulate his goals. And that relationship he had with McAvenny, the year we should have won with the first division. You know what I mean? McAvenny do all the work down the channels, and he'd peel off. He'd be ready for the balls, into the box, and he'd be invariably, as I said, if the ball fell to Tony Cottee, invariably it's in the back of the net. I think he scored 146 goals for us over two periods. First hammer to get first hammer to score a hat trick in the Premier League, and of course Young Player of the Year in 1986 as well. So he got all the accolades. He probably should have got a few more England caps. I think he only got 7 in the end. But born in East Ham, am I right? I think could be right. So he proper hammer, proper hammer. And I'd say if he could, he would have stayed at the club all his life.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But as I said, when I think of Tony Cottee, it takes me back to my childhood. When everyone was carefree. You know what I mean? And you didn't see too much footage on TV of West Ham in Ireland when in the say 80s and 90s. But when you did, and when we scored, invariably it was Tony Cottee that was scoring a goal. So Paolo Di Canio, I could go on about Tony Cottee for forever, because and then I got the pleasure of meeting him 2 years ago before the game, and he was as nice as I hoped him to be. And just recently, actually, my friend Ronan, the Dublin Hammer, my son was 5 last week, and I woke up on the day of his birthday, and I had a birthday message from Tony Cottee and Tony Gale for my boys. And I think, as my wife said to me, I was more excited than he was to get the messages, So it was like, I woke up, I was like, this is unbelievable, you know what I mean? So it just, it just brings it home how close, tight-knit we are as a club, as a community, as supporters. I think it was Alvin Martin said, you don't support West Ham for the success. And I certainly haven't supported West Ham for the success, But they frustrate the hell out of you at times, and then they go and do something like beat Chelsea, the manner in which they did, and then you fall back in love with the whole thing again, isn't it? Isn't that ever us, And
it's so true,
isn't it? So you're going out for a meal on a Saturday night with your wife, they lose. No. We're not going out for a meal on a Saturday night. You know what I mean? But when I was younger, it used to take me. I'd be quite honest, and my late dad would tell you, when I was younger and we'd lose, when I was a teenager, I would go into the fits of absolute, because I'd go into school. I go into secondary school on a Monday. We could be in the second division playing the likes of Notts County or Swindon, and we'd lose to them. And like my fellow classmates would be like Liverpool and Man United, and they'd be playing the top teams. And I heard you lost to Swindon at the weekend. That's some result. You'd be down in Division 2 forever. You know, all that sort of stuff. You know. But hopefully, but hopefully our yo-yo days are over now, and we can just solidify and push on. That's all we want. That's all. As you said, that's all we want. If we can, like, yes, you'd love a tilt at Europa. Yes, you'd love to be operating at the higher echelons of the Premier League, but just to win a cup, even if it's the Carabao Cup, before I shuffle off, I would be absolutely delighted. And we almost got that in 2006. 2006, really. That was the last time I cried over West Ham.
I know.
You know, it was. You know, I was in the. I won't keep it too long. I was in a pub. There was 7 or 8 of us West Ham supporters, and of course the pub was full of Liverpool supporters. And of course the game was going our way 2-1. The conscious goal to put us 3-2 up, and I was going, here we go, we're finally getting our moment in the sun. And the next thing, we won't mention what happened because I'll only go to bed upset. But the Liverpool fans in the pub didn't even wait to see the cup presentation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I think I'd still be in a pub celebrating 14 years later, like that's all we wanted, and I remember when scored, I had a pint in my hand and I hit the floor, and it was like, it's like, and then you just knew when it went to penalties, it wasn't going to be our day, but we played so well on that day. And I remember Yossi Benayoun on that day was just phenomenal. He ran the game, and ended up going. In fact, he ended up going to Liverpool on the back of that game. Really, I remember I'm selling a dummy at one stage, and Carragher, like Keown with Buchanan, had to pay for an admission fee back into the stadium. But we played so well that day, and I remember hitting the post late on with a Marlon Harewood back header and stuff like that. It was just not to be, unfortunately. And who knows when we'll ever get back there, Russ? That's it, though, isn't it, Russ?
Next season. Next season's our season, Ron.
But Russ, did you ever know a song to be so apt as West Ham? Like my dreams, they fade and die. Fortune's always hiding. Exactly. Well, it's about time it came out of hiding, Russ.
We've played hide and seek for a few years now. So
I'm still counting to 1 million.
Yeah, exactly. Still count. Ready or not, here I come. Right, man. It's been brilliant.
Stop.
It's been class, man.
I really enjoyed it, Russ, and I'm delighted that you're doing this, and it's a great platform for any West Ham fan, be they in the UK, be they in Ireland or in Europe or across worldwide. Try and get on and speak with Russ. A really good guy, and
thank you.
I'm so delighted, and it's made my evening actually to be on here with you tonight.
And it's great because I haven't had to chat at all. It's brilliant. I've just sat here for 58 minutes listening to you talk, and it's been lovely. And it's been the easiest episode ever, Ron. So thank you so much.
Listen, I really appreciate your time, Russ, and I wish you every success with the channel. And please God, we'll see you in the London Stadium in the not too distant.
Please God. And obviously, thank you to everyone for watching as well. Like, share, subscribe. As I said, everyone keep an eye on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that for all the charity stuff coming up. Make sure we can pull together as a West Ham family and try and raise some money for these great causes. And until next time, for myself and Ron, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Again very, very soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.